So, has anybody been to Arby's recently? The return is near. July 1st, 2024. No, this is not talking about potato cakes. And when you look this up on Reddit 14 days ago, you see people commenting, can't wait for the potato cakes, all this stuff. This guy actually gets it. You are all missing the whole entire point. Literally, it's the Illuminati, all-seeing eye, with the exception of the Latin part, but includes the Roman numerals. With that being said, they're adding at on the end is near, which is propaganda, manipulation, or the truth. Anyways, everyone on this post is only caring about some sort of food item. Guys, this is the end-time curse that goes forth of the face of the whole earth. Zechariah chapter 5. An angel asked Zechariah, what is this that you see? And this is an ephah. This is an ephah. This is an ephah.
This is why the heliocentric globe Earth theory debunks itself. It simply doesn't work under any circumstances. According to this theoretical model, it takes the moon about 27.3 days to orbit the Earth. So can any of you die-hard globe Earth believers explain? How is the moon visible in the night sky side of Earth when the moon is on the bright sun side of Earth? Because according to your model, the moon should not be visible at the high night sky for almost 14 days every month for the people experiencing night at the equator. And the most hilarious thing about this is that all you globe Earth believers are laughing at the truth seekers and flat earthers when their model actually fixes this problem. So, unless you can fix this problem on your model, the heliocentric globe Earth theory will be debunked.
You can conclude this point by saying that you've accepted that it was based on an assumption. Do you still maintain that position?
Well, it's the standard model of the
Sorry,
world.
the standard model has no scientific backing. It is an assumption, correct?
Well, it's the standard model.
Sorry, the standard model has no scientific evidence. You only assume a value of R. Correct, Mick? For crying out loud, man.
So people are really triggered when you question the source that they use to validate everything and to verify everything, the source of all knowledge. If you question what that source says, the Oracle, Google, if you question anything that comes back from there or someone that's deemed an expert in the field and gets paid to do something in that field, if you go against anything or question anything, you're uneducated, you're dumb, you just can't read. Like, why can't you just follow right? Why can't you just follow what it says and believe what it says? And then there's guys doing it for a living. These are experts, and this is the Google explanation. Like, what is your problem? People are so bothered by that, and they'll call you every name and try to make you feel any way because you don't go along with what they consider to be the know-it-all, the end-all of all knowing is an expert in the field, or who made a listing, or who made a thing, or published an article, or wrote it in a book, and Google. Whatever Google spits back, that is the end-all. If you question it, you are just insane, uneducated, and what the hell are you talking about? And just get in line. Like, stop. Why can't you just accept the answer? So a lot of people like to say that, oh, it's okay to question things, but then you got to accept the answer. It's like, no, I'm questioning where you're getting the answer from. I'm literally questioning the source of all of our knowledge. So yeah, if I'm breaking new ground and that's bugging you out, and I'm thinking of things that you haven't thought of, or that Google has already debunked. Someone else thought of it, and Google has already had a response to that. So I'm just an idiot for not listening and just not accepting the answer that you have given me or that Google has given me. That is, like, literally, that's being crabs in a bucket, man. You can't even... someone reaches for a new thought, questions something, goes in a little bit of a different direction and says, hey man, I see bullshit here. No, how could you do that? That's not bullshit. Read the article and just accept the answer. It's not bullshit. Like, dude, you're just a crab in a bucket. You're just reaching up and pulling the other person down because Why? Because it's a different thought, because it's not, doesn't go with the source that you have validated everything on. It doesn't go along with someone who claims and has titles and has accreditations on the wall. It doesn't go along with them. They all disagree. In every field, there's people on opposite ends of agreeing on everything. So they're experts to a degree, to very specific things, but they're not experts at thinking. They're not any extra special at logic and just senses, their eyes and their ears and understanding things. So when you stand on a Google search and you stand next to some expert, oh yeah, you're just, you have no idea what you're talking about. I guess you're a scientist. I guess you're this. It's like, dude, you've already discounted yourself as anything but just a follower, because if that's your source and that's what you need to understand things, then go right ahead. And I do the research. You do research to fill in gaps in your knowledge, questions about certain things. If experiments were done, you can't know of every experiment and the result. So you do research to fill in the gaps. You don't do research to get the big picture and for someone to tell you how everything works. Oh, this is how it works from start to finish. This is it. There's no question. This is the only way. You don't do research like that and just take what someone else has put together. You do research to fill in the gaps in your knowledge, and then you sit with it. You sit with it, and you think about it for days, and you question things, and then you do some research to fill in the gap. And then you sit with that for days and you think about it. It's about being alone with your thoughts, and that's how you come up with things and put things together. You do research to fill in the gaps as far as specific knowledge about things. So don't tell me that you're doing research and you're just coming up with the entire answer and the explanation in quotes from a scientist, and that's your research. That's not research. That's like finding good quotes and finding other people's the culmination and the results of their research, and then you're presenting it as your research. That's not research. Have a good day.
Watch this astrophysicist making stuff up to confuse his listeners. It's all in their imagination. Nothing that he is saying is real.
This next question comes from Twitter user Aku, who asks, any estimations on how old these discovered exoplanets are?
Yeah, the age of the star and the system itself is poorly constrained. We know it's not very young. It doesn't show signs of youngness, so it's at least 500 million years old. But we can't say more because these ultra-cold dwarf stars, they evolve super slowly. Their lifetime is 1,000 times larger than for a sun-like stars. So we don't see them evolving, so we can't constrain their ages.
All right, this next question comes from Facebook Live here. What is the distance between these three planets? Is it something like 500,000 kilometers? And what is the distance between E and the star?
The distance between the planets are a few times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. So we're talking about something like millions of kilometers, and not hundreds of millions of kilometers for an Earth around a sun-like star. And for the planet F, the distance is something like 5% the distance between the Earth and the Sun. So it's much, much closer to its star.
NASA deceiving people since 1958?
Anybody on here, Rakia knows he brings me up regularly. I got no issues with that. Even Fred.
No problem, man. All right, folks, let's go on. So, Jorge, could you agree with me that air pressure pushes us down? Air pressure is pushing us down.
There's pressing you from all around. Yes.
All right. So now we see that these matchhead sticks there at the top, they're not going down. To me, I don't know. You can speak about this, right? This is a Cartesian.
I can. This is really cool. But go ahead. I can speak to it.
But now I want to just back up Fred here that everything finds its equilibrium. If I close this bottle and then put in a bit of pressure, right? You see those matchhead sticks? They go down, finding the equilibrium. If I put just a bit of pressure, not too much, just a little bit, they will a bit like levitate in that medium because they're trying to find equilibrium.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is how I don't know what the device was, but this is a rudimentary way to measure pressure, atmospheric pressure. And so what you have there is that water is not compressible, but the wood and matches are compressible, and they have water and a little bit of air trapped in them. So when you put your thumb over that thing and you press down, you are compressing what's in there, but the water can't compress. But what does compress is the matchstick. And what that causes a little bit of the air to come out, and it causes the matchstick to actually get a little bit smaller, which increases its overall density, which decreases its buoyant force, which causes it to sink. This is just, and Frederick would agree, this is just Bernoulli, Newtonian type physics.
All right.
Fred,
so
you
now,
can't correct that, bro.
Jorge.
So it's pretty simple physics, y'all.
Are you paying attention?
You see it has nothing to do with the fluid statics when you do that, because it absolutely does. You're changing.
You're compressing the wood. Water's not compressible.
Yeah, Jorge, here's the thing.
Water is compressible.
Here. Jorge, here's the thing.
But it's not compressible. Not like the wood is.
You just
no, 1 second. 1 second.
Hey, Greg, do you agree with my description?
1 second. Jorge, you're saying about compressing the wood, but now the original where this experiment comes from, right? The Cartesian diver is made that they have to fit in that tube is half water and half air. You're not that there's no compression of water or air.
Air is compressible.
But that tube goes down on its own without being compressed because it's sealed. That tube is sealed. The original experiment, that tube is sealed. There's no way air is going in or coming out. They're changing the pressure of the water.
I didn't say that air was going in or out. It's just pressure.
If it was opposite pressure, right? Say, for instance, for some reason the bottle was exerting pressure from the inside, and you tried to put your thumb on top of it, it would spray around your thumb. You're just doing the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yep, but
water
I'm
is
not
compressible
changing.
with enough pressure.
No, it's not. Water's not. That's how hydraulics work.
Actually, it's done. I can show you a test. It's been done.
Fred,
Nice try,
what is
though.
more?
I'm
what
gonna
is more
take-
compressible,
but
wood,
now-
wood, or water? Look that up.
What's funny is gravity wasn't
Look,
said one time.
Jorge, I when I did this area on, right, the water was here, and these matchsticks, they didn't go down. I had to add in more water, so the matchsticks went down. If I remove the water up to here, and I think
'cause you're
Starlight
compressing the air.
asked the question
please
already.
understand. Please
Starlight
understand.
asked me
Please understand.
that. So you can agree that. So you can acknowledge that I'm not compressing the wood,
listen,
but
listen.
it's about the water.
You just proved my point. Go ahead.
Hydraulics
No,
are the systems we've been using for years. We've known about them.
Yeah. So the air is compressible. So if you put too much air in there, man, when you squeeze your thumb, you're just going to compress the air. You got to have a little bit amount of air because the air and the matchsticks will all compress. And it is when you compress the matchsticks that you get a difference in your buoyant force because of the change in density of the matchstick. And so the water's not going to compress, Fred. I know that you're saying water is compressible at some pressures, but I would ask you to look at the difference between incompressibility of water and wet wood.
But now,
It's more
why would the
compressible,
plastic
but water is
concealed-
also compressible.
So we can agree on that.
Yeah, but because the original experiment,
It's
the
just
plastic,
infinitesimal.
there's no water, there's no air going in the plastic or water coming out from the plastic. The original the Cartesian diver, right, is sealed, like completely sealed.
Son, did you understand are you okay with my explanation? I don't have to say you have to agree with it, but did you understand what I was saying about the compression and the buoyant force?
But then, Jorge, not even only that, if they were to compress a liquid at all, it would heat it up. And then the liquid would go to a gaseous form after it got hot enough. So,
And there's a whole relationship
that's
between the pressure
BS.
and the
That's
temperature.
BS. I
Fred,
can show you a test where he puts 20,000 pounds into it and compresses water.
All right,
It
but
doesn't
now,
blow
all right.
up. It doesn't burn.
I'll do this with. Okay, what about the egg in salt water and non-salt water? Would it be the same
eggs,
principle that the egg in salt water they float, and not in salt water they sink. Is it not the same
Same
principle?
thing. Like it's the same. Almost everything that you're going to put in there is going to be more compressible than the water. I mean, you can put some steel chunks in there, but if they're going to sink to the bottom, and if you make little shells out of them, though, now you give them like a limited tensile strength, and they will compress because metal is deformable. Water's pretty incompressible, y'all. Fred, I agree with you. Like in theory, you can compress water, and you can get all kinds of actually different states of water by compressing it sufficiently. But we're not at that regime right now. At the pressures he's putting on it, the water's not compressing, but the matchstick is, and it's just changing the density of that matchstick, so it's making it more dense, so it sinks. At some point, it's more dense than the water, and it sinks. Man, that's just like. I think
you do realize this is how submarines operate.
He's not
right?
compressing the wood
What?
sticks. He's
No.
compressing the air
Oh my
above it and
God.
changing the water pressure.
When he changes the
Matchsticks
pressure,
aren't compressing.
they are.
Nice try, though.
No, they are changing volume.
No, they're not.
They
You
are.
can't prove that.
Yeah, so hold on. And the air, either the air is getting squeezed out of them because the matchsticks have air.
The air increase, the pressure of the air increase changes the equilibrium.
Oh, okay. I'll try this
That's it
in a
right there.
plastic
That's the
bottle.
very
Changing the
basics.
density. When he
If you
presses
can
down, everything.
understand, he didn't change the density. He changed the pressure in the
No,
bottle.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
But that changed the density of the
You're just
matchstick.
trying. Now it didn't change the matchsticks at all.
It
So,
did.
hey,
It changed the
listen,
density.
No, you
It
can't
did.
prove
Wait,
that.
Fred, wait,
You have to
wait.
physically test it.
Jorge,
prove it.
wait.
It's
I
not
want to
happening.
hear him say something.
He proved
Fred,
that, Fred. He proved
Fred,
it.
explain to me how you think submarines work.
Hydrostatics is a branch of fluid mechanics, which is a branch of physics, which explains the atmospheric pressure and the ocean pressure. That's what he's doing in the bottle, is a demonstration of pressure changes. He's not pressing the wood, he's compressing the air and changing the pressure in the bottle.
Okay, goes back to my
That's it.
original question. How do you
Your
think
question-
submarines work? Because that still did not answer my
I know how submarines work. What does that have to do with what we're talking
Explain
about?
to me, because you said
They
that's
fill tanks.
exactly
and
how
they fill
submarines
tanks
work.
with air and change the buoyancy.
Okay,
Exactly the same thing as we're
that is
demonstrated
not
here.
what's happening here.
That is exactly what's happening here. You're changing the
Yep.
outside pressure.
That's right. Which,
That's right.
Which
Okay.
wants
And
to
they do the
squeeze.
same
Outside
thing in
pressure
an
that's
airplane.
changed.
in the
It's
air.
still fluid
Submarines
mechanics.
don't
Same
compress.
You see?
No,
now
they're
you
not
see this.
compressing. They're changing
Jorge.
the buoyancy by
Yes.
filling air
Yes.
tanks and emptying
This-
them.
Hold
You
on,
see,
Fred.
you-
Even
Jorge,
better.
Jorge,
This is awesome.
Jorge.
Yes.
Yeah, but now you see, this is the plastic bottle. I'm
Yep.
pressing now the plastic bottle.
Same thing. You're
Now there
increasing the
is no
pressure.
air that Yeah,
I'm
it's
not-
the pressure of the water. I'm changing the
He's
pressure
not
of the
pressuring
water.
the
right.
objects inside. He's changing
I'm
the
not-
pressure
You are
outside.
removing
Exactly,
You're
exactly.
removing volume from the bottle by doing that.
Did
Not removing volume. There's a lid on it.
There's
No.
a lid.
From the movable space of the water.
Changing the pressure. Learn basic physics,
Increasing pressure.
fluid mechanics,
Which is increasing
hydrostatics, and
You
then
see
you
this
will
one?
understand what's
You see this?
demonstrated to
It's
you.
gone all down. I didn't change it. I didn't touch it. I didn't change it. It's still closed. But you see, it just went down on its own.
Yeah.
Are you forcing water into the matches though?
Yeah. So that one probably is completely saturated with water.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, I can
that-
agree
you're not
with
gonna-
it. Yeah.
He can do it with other objects, not just
Yeah,
matches.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
They just have to
Yeah.
be more compressible than the water, Frederick,
No,
and
they
they have
don't.
to have a
You're
density
No, they
changing
don't.
the
similar.
pressure around it.
You can do it with
Well, how do you
plastic.
think hydraulics
Jorge.
work? So, Frederick, you're telling me
How do you
hydraulics are
think they
fake
work?
science?
If you have a
saying,
submarine
they're-
and you
they're
take
not
it down to
hydraulics.
100 feet depth, and
So,
then you
dude,
increase the pressure outside that submarine, the submarine will rise up.
They're literally denying
Simple.
hydraulics right now.
They are
Jorge.
literally denying hydraulics. Like and
Yeah.
everybody
No,
that
we're
actually works
proving
on a
hydraulics. You
We are
clown.
denying gravity.
We're
should be
proving
We are
it.
outraged. So anybody out there that's ever worked on a hydraulic system, Frederick is
Yeah,
saying
we're
that you're
proving
Son of
it.
Africa is
We're proving
defying
it.
gravity.
You just don't know what you're talking about. You're denying it. We're
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.